Not only are we going to be unboxing this insane semi-automatic shotgun, but we're also going to be heading to the range to get some first impressions on how it shoots, and we're going to be comparing it to the Panzer M4 that we did an unboxing on a few weeks ago. So when you open up the box, one thing that I have noticed that's different already is we now have a breacher choke, which the Panzer did not come with. Then we also have a couple of additional chokes in here, and there's also a choke in the gun already. Another thing that I noticed that's different from the Panzer is this one comes wrapped in this beautiful cloth. It feels very soft to the touch. So once we pull this guy off, so there it is in all its glory. So for those of you guys who didn't see the video on the original Panzer M4 unboxing, I'm doing a whole series on different semi-auto shotguns. I'm starting with the Panzer M4, now we have the Orthos, and we're gonna be getting a legit Benelli M4 here in the future. And my whole goal with this series is to see not only can the Panzer M4 or the Orthos hold a candle to the Benelli M4, but I also want to see like how they all just kind of compare to one another, see which one might be the best bang for the buck. And then I'm also looking for affordable yet highly effective upgrades to see, is it better to get a Panzer M4 and then upgrade some parts on it? Is it better to just go out and get one of these? Or is it better to go out and just get a Benelli M4? So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss any of the uploads from this, because just to be real with you, whenever I upload videos on stuff tends to fall out. It's just kind of a consequence of the channel growing in size. I will have a push list available for everything that we're talking about in this video. So if you see anything in this video you want to check out for yourself, just follow the first link in the description. I'll also pin that link down in the comment section for you as well. So if you watched my last unboxing that I did on the Panzer M4, one of the things that I mentioned was, you know, when it comes to these Turkish style shotguns, the biggest difference between different brands of Turkish shotguns is the importers, because all the importers have different standards for their quality control. From what some people have told me, and I don't know if this is 100% true or not, so don't kill the messenger, but from what a few people have told me is they're all coming from the same place, but what makes one brand better than another one is the quality control standards. And so different companies like say Panzer have different standards, and then Orthos has very strict QC standards. In fact, this gun is mostly made in the United States. And you're like, wait, what are you talking about? The only parts of this gun that are actually imported are the receiver set, the bolt, and the barrel. Everything else on this gun is made in the United States. So that's a big difference right there from other Turkish shotguns. Not only are their QC standards very high, but they also go in through the receiver, they go over the bolt and in the barrel, and they deburr any burrs that they find to make the action a lot smoother than it otherwise would be. One thing I did notice right out the gate was that the action on here was much smoother out of the box than the Panzer. So I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. We're going to listen and look. Now, obviously on camera, you're not gonna be able to feel this, but this thing feels like it's gliding on rails. Now, the other thing is when we look inside here, you can see how smooth everything is. And just to the touch, there's not a lot of friction in there. It is very smooth. So I can tell that they did what they said they were gonna do when they said that they go inside here and they deburr everything. Now onto the Panzer. Let's look and listen. Okay, so if I pull it slowly, watch. Kind of catch there, then you pull past there. It's overall very smooth, but the other one is just smoother. Let's go back to it. So if I pull this one kind of slow, yep, we get that same stop right there. It's not a big deal. But pushing past that stock on this one seems to be just a little bit smoother. The Orthos feels like it's running on rails. This one isn't rough by any stretch of the imagination, but it just doesn't feel as smooth. The other cool part about this one, and I don't know if this is the case with a lot of other Turknellies or anything, but this one has a lifetime warranty that is transferable. So it doesn't matter if you're the original purchaser of the gun, the lifetime warranty exists for as long as the gun does. So these come in a variety of different colors. As you can see, I chose to get flat dark earth. You can also get these in all black. You can get them in obviously flat dark earth. You can get them in a beautiful gray color. I love that gray. You can also get them in OD green, and then you can get it in one that's called the Camo Elite. And then the Camo Elite has some other upgrades to it. They have a titanium nitrided bolt. I don't know if that's a big upgrade or not, you know, in regards to shotguns is concerned, but it is there. Also on the Camo Elite version, the ammo tube is carbon fiber. I can't verify whether or not that is real carbon fiber or if it's just some kind of wrap around it, but I will, because one of my buddies is getting the Camo Elite soon, and once he gets it, I'll be able to report back in a future video. And then the other difference between the Camo Elite and all the other colors, aside from the color, is the screws that go into the handguard. I can't tell, but they look different. So I'm assuming they might be titanium. So let's go over all the upgrades that they've done to this. So the first thing you'll notice right here is the tube. It is a full capacity tube. This tube holds 6 rounds of 3-inch shells or 7 rounds of 2 3/4-inch shells. If you're shooting 2 3/4 shells, that gives you a total of 7 + 1, which is 8. Right here on the front, they have a Picatinny mag tube clamp. So what this does is it offers a little more rigidity in keeping the barrel in place, because on a normal M4 or Turk Nelly, the only thing that's holding really the barrel kind of in place is basically this little screw cap right here that covers the mag tube. So this is just an extra level of security, plus you could attach a light to it if you so chose to. Now, another thing about this barrel, and I believe Panzer barrels are similar, is these are actually chrome lined barrels, which are identical in specs to the Benelli M4 barrels. They're also chrome lined, but this one takes it a step further. Not only is this barrel Cerakoted in whatever color you choose to get, it's also got ports right here. And we're gonna find out when we go shooting it in a little bit whether or not these ports are actually functional. Moving back to here, we have an upgraded handguard, which is completely Picatinny. This is made by the guys at Orthos. I did go through all of these screws on here to take it off. I wanted to see how the screws fit. And when I was reinstalling them, one of the screws started stripping out. So that tells me that these screws, at least on the versions that aren't the Elite Camo, they're a little bit soft, but thankfully, as you saw when we unboxed it, it does come with additional sets of screws. Right here, we got some M-LOK panels that are also included, and I believe, yeah, they are on both sides of the gun. Then on the bottom right here, we have a nice M-LOK handguard that's also, I can't tell if this is Cerakoted or anodized. I believe this is anodized in flat dark earth, and it's a 3-piece design. So if you wanted to remove one of these pieces, you could. If you just wanted to have, like, say, a hand stop, and then you could move it anywhere you wanted. Or you could remove these two and just use the small one. Totally up to you. Moving back to right here, you have a larger enhanced bolt release. When you compare that to the standard Panzer, it doesn't have that. Now, right here, it says this is an extended charging handle, but I'll be honest, when I compare that to the Panzer, it doesn't look extended. I don't know why that's listed on their website, but they say that that's extended and it looks almost the same to me, just a little shinier. Now, something that has kind of thrown me off about this is the ghost ring sight. So the website, it says that it is included with an LED Fibertron front sight, which is essentially, I believe, a battery powered LED illuminated front sight. Mine, for whatever reason, doesn't have one. I'm still waiting on an email back from the company to see why it doesn't. Sometimes companies will start changing out and making minor changes to their product line, and I don't know if that's one of the changes they're making. Maybe they had a problem with them and they're just not offering them anymore. I honestly don't know. The other difference I noticed between this one and the one that was listed on the website at the time was the one that was listed on the website when I ordered this had a flat dark earth handguard. And obviously you can see that mine is black. And when I went to their website recently, it showed black on there. So maybe they're changing some stuff up with the product line. Now, when we move back here, it gets a little bit more interesting. They have gone through the bolt and they've made sure that it has good springs in it, good extractors, and they've done the necessary upgrades for that to make it reliable. The trigger group, I believe, is also American made. If I'm wrong about that, somebody let me know down in the comments section. But then here comes another really cool part about this gun, and that's gonna be the stock and grip system right here. So on my Panzer Arms M4, it came with a skeletonized stock that was non-adjustable. I have since upgraded it to this guy right here. I mentioned it in the video that I did on this gun. This stock right here was only like 50 bucks. But I've recently put that on here, and this one's fully adjustable and it twists, and you can do all that cool stuff with it. It's like 4 or 5 positions, I can't remember. And then you can also adjust the height of the cheek riser. This one, on the other hand, not only has an adjustable cheek piece that's actually really easy to adjust by pressing a button, but it also has an extension that's very similar to the way that you would operate an AR-15 stock. And I like that because of the manual of arms is very, very similar to an AR-15, and that's something that I'm used to shooting. If we move further back, you'll notice there are some springs right here, or shock absorbers, and they're calling this the Shock Force Recoil System. The good part is you have a QD slot for a sling, and then you also have this piece right here to attach a sling to as well. Got a sling on order. We'll see it when it arrives. So here's my thing. My favorite part about this entire gun, it's not crazy expensive when you consider everything that's on here. We'll get to the price here in a little bit, but I wanted to bring that up because every single one of these parts that you see on this gun can be purchased separately, meaning if you already own some kind of Benelli, or even if you own a legit like Benelli M4, you could literally order almost every single part that's on here and put it on that gun and upgrade it. So if you already have one, you don't gotta go out and get a new gun. You can get the ported barrel in all the colors. You can order the handguard in the different colors. You can get the hand stops, you know, the M-lock panels. You can get the extension tubes in all the colors. You can also get the extended bolt release in different colors, and you can get the Shock Force stock in different colors. I'll have more information about that over at the parts list if you wanna check it out. And speaking of the different accessories, I actually ordered a bunch of the accessories that are on this gun to put them on my Panzer. So in the future, we can do a comparison on, is it better just to get this one fully kitted out, or is it better just to upgrade your current Benelli? So in comparison to the Panzer M4, this one is a little bit longer with the stock completely collapsed. This one measures at 40 inches, and then the Panzer, after I upgraded the stock to an adjustable stock, this one comes in at 35.5 inches in length. And that can be a big deal for a couple different reasons. Number one, you know, if you're doing CQB type stuff, you know, that's a 4.5 inch difference. Additionally, I have found in some of my rifle cases or rifle bags that the Panzer M4 being shorter, it'll fit in there. Whereas with this one, I do have to use a longer bag so it will fit. Now, in regards to weight, the Panzer comes in at about 8.74 to 8.75, 76 pounds, just depending on the scale. On that same scale, the Orthos came in at like 9.98 or 10 pounds. So you have about a 1.3 pound difference between the Orthos and a standard Panzer, but then again, you have a lot more attachments going on here. Like you could probably take off this guy and save a few ounces, and your M-lock covers and save a few ounces, and there's little things there, but I don't think that these and these would make the biggest difference, but they are options. Now, when I did the unboxing video for the Panzer, one thing that I noted was most people that get any type of Turkish M4, these screws that go to this top Picatinny section right here, they always seem to be under torqued. I do believe these are supposed to be kind of torqued in about 15 to 20 inch-pounds, somewhere in there. And so we're gonna do a reverse torque test. I have this one set at 10 inch-pounds. Highly recommend these guys for doing any type of work or testing on your guns. I'll have links for these on this list, but they test not only torquing in the right-hand position, but you can also test reverse torque. So we're gonna test one of these here. Yep, that one's loose. That one's loose. That one's loose. And that one's loose. I already know that this one's loose right here, the last one, because I've already tested it. So that kind of makes me wonder, right? Like, okay, I think it's awesome that they have made big upgrades to the standard M4, but that kind of makes me wonder, like, why the hell didn't you guys Loctite these with blue Loctite and put them at the appropriate torque setting? So now I'm gonna have to do the same thing to this one that I did with the Panzer, not a huge deal. Take all these out, degrease the threads, both on the receiver and on the screws. Use a little blue Loctite, and I'm gonna tighten them down to about 15 to 20 inch-pounds. So let's compare the trigger pull on the Panzer. Little take up there. There's the brake. Here's the reset. Brake. Here's the Orthos. Very little take up. There is a little there, not as much as the Panzer. There's the brake. All right, let's compare the trigger weight real quick. I gotta kind of hold this guy still. I'm not gonna help it, but I gotta hold that because it doesn't want to work sometimes. All right, this one came in right around 6 pounds. All right, this one definitely came out heavier. Came out just under 7 pounds. So about a pound lighter on the Orthos. But the real question is, how does the shooting experience with the Orthos compare to the Panzer? Now, I will say this, earlier in the video, I was kind of touting how Orthos has high, strict quality control. Yet we saw when we looked at this top rail here that was all loose. And that has me a little bit worried. Aside from just this, not coming with the front sight that it said it would come with, also not being included with the charging handle that it's supposed to come with, I don't know what's going on. I gotta get in touch with the people at Orthos and be like, hey, what's the deal with this front sight and this charging handle? Because your website says one thing, but I got something totally different. And then I'm gonna ask them, what the heck were you guys thinking when it came to this pick rail? Because if you're gonna do all these QCs and do all this deburring, but yet you can't torque this down to spec, has me a little bit worried on what the QC is actually like versus what I was told it was like. So when I hit the range, instead of shooting the Orthos first, I wanted to shoot the Panzer first so I could get a good feel of how this compared to this throughout the shooting experience. And a couple of things that I was testing was, number one, I wanted to see how the reliability compared between the two. Then number two, I wanted to see how the recoil impulse felt, especially because this one has the ported barrel and the shock absorbers in the stock. Now, you're gonna have to bear with me because it's probably been since 2018 since I've actually shot a shotgun, and that one was my Remington 870 that I just haven't shot since. So the first few rounds with the Panzer took some getting used to just because it's been so long. But the couple things that I did notice about this was, number one, this thing shot very smoothly. It's a lot softer shooting than I anticipated. Now, with that being said, the first, 20-ish rounds, I was just using some birdshot. Had this ammo forever. So first rounds through the Panzer M4. Unfortunately, all I have today is birdshot, so we'll see. What was that, first 6 rounds? Not bad. Now, since that range day, I have learned that it's better to use higher powered ammo to break in a gun. And usually with these semi-auto shotties, it takes approximately 50 rounds until they're fully broken in. But with that said, I did experience one malfunction using this stuff right here, and only one malfunction using this stuff. Everything else shot completely smoothly. And as of right now, I have 52 rounds through here, not only using the birdshot, but I also had some of this 12 gauge training ammo. All the ammo I shot was 2 3/4 inch. It is a target load that shoots at about 1,200 feet per second. I only had a little bit of this left. So for the rest of the shooting, not only with the Panzer, but also with the Orthos, I was using this training ammo. I did experience another malfunction, but it wasn't really a malfunction. I don't know why, but this one doesn't like to be ghost loaded. I noticed that anytime I did any ghost loads on here, the shell carrier wouldn't lift up that round so that it could be put into the chamber. I don't know what was going on with that. And so at first I thought that I was ghost loading it incorrectly. But then as we got to the Orthos arms, I realized that I wasn't. So once I got this guy loaded up with some ammo, the very first thing that I noticed was the ergonomics of this. It felt so much better than the standard Panzer, with all the little upgrades up here on the handguard, on the grip, and then with the stock. It just had this much better feel to it and a much more balance, if that makes sense. It's weird because this gun, like I said earlier, weighs more than this Panzer, but when you're shooting it, this one feels about the same in regards to weight, but it feels a little more balanced, and that's probably because of the recoil impulse. Oh wow, that's a totally different experience from the standard Panzer. I did a tube through the standard Panzer, then I did a tube through this one, and now I kind of just want to shoot this one.
So if that says anything.
So with the recoil impulse on the Orthos, it felt incredibly soft shooting. And honestly, I think a lot of it had to do with the porting. Yeah, I could feel a little bit in the stock here with those little springs in there, but I think the majority of the flat shooting comes from these ports. If you look at the footage, whenever I'm shooting the Panzer, it looks like whenever I take a shot, the muzzle wants to rise a little bit. And then when I'm ready to shoot again, it's harder to get the muzzle level. And then you'll see a couple times I took a shot and it went up, and then I wasn't quite level and I took another shot. With this one, the recoil impulse came straight back every single time, and it hardly had any muzzle rise at all. In fact, I felt like it shot completely straight. Let me know what your thoughts are. I shot the rest of my shotgun ammo through this one, and so I've only got 39 rounds through it, and they did say on their website their break-in period is 50 rounds, so we're still not past the break-in period. However, I'm happy to note that I had 0 malfunctions with this throughout those 39 rounds. Also, I'm happy to note that ghost loading it didn't pose any problems with cycling as the Panzer did. And the other thing that I noticed about shooting both of these guns at the range was this one was so much more enjoyable to shoot that I found myself not wanting to shoot this one as often as I shot this one. I had my buddy Mike from Tactical Considerations out in the desert testing them with me. He shot both the Panzer as well as the Orthos, and both of us just kept coming back to this one every single time. Now, obviously time will tell, you know, to see what the reliability is on here. A lot of people have said that the Panzers or any other Turknelli, typically if they're kind of reliable in the beginning, after about 500 rounds, they start not getting reliable. And so my goal is to put 500 rounds through both of these. However, putting 500 rounds through a 12 gauge that at most holds 9 rounds, it takes a lot of time. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is why this is a video series, because I'm not gonna go try to shoot 500 rounds through each gun over the course of 1 or 2 range trips. It's just not feasible because I got other guns I got to test. Still waiting on a ton of different types of 12 gauge that I ordered to come in, because I got buckshot, I got slugs and more birdshot and stuff like that, because we need to put all the different types of ammo through it just to verify how reliable they are. But I will say this, as a first impressions on both of these guns, I think that both guns shot as well as you can expect for the prices that they cost. If you watch the last videos, these can be about 400 or 500. The stock that I upgraded it with was about 50. And then these guys, we haven't talked about price on these yet, but these can range in price, depending on where you get them, for $1,100 up to about $1,500 for the solid colors. So it's gonna be an interesting series on seeing how all these compare. You could get 2 of these for the price of 1 of these if you got it from the third party, being about $1,100. That's just my thoughts right now. That may change in future videos. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments about which one you think might perform better, which one you like better. Do you think the Orthos is worth the inflated price over a standard Panzer? Or do you think both of them are crap and you should just go get a real Benelli? Either way, I'd love to hear your feedback. But if you want more information about the Panzer M4, go check out this video right here and it'll answer all of your questions. But until next time, guys, I love you and you guys stay sexy.